Okay guys, here we are for the first round. Unfortunately, in my recording I was so excited about talking about the deck that I missed the first round of the 4-round daily. So, unfortunately we're doing an 8-man queue instead, but hopefully it'll still give me a chance to really kind of show you guys the changes to the deck, which I'm really excited about. So, here we are. This is a snap keep. We have the Puresteel, we have the collar, the Spellskite to protect, and some good land and some good threats. So very happy with this keep. But I really like the addition of Image in this deck. I think that it's going to go a long way towards just really helping against some of the big matchups, being able to have answers now to Geist in a very real way. I really like. I still haven't had that much of a chance to play against the Zombies matchup, so really excited to see how it does here. Here we're going to go ahead and lead out with the Spellskite, just kind of wall up. This way, in case he's got removal of some kind, he can't just blow us out with Puresteel. So if we draw land, we're probably just going to go ahead and drop Blade Splicer. Otherwise, we're going to start setting up with Puresteel. But honestly, in the Zombies matchup, playing the Puresteel a little bit later on is just fine. They don't have any kind of hand destruction, so you don't need to worry about getting it taken out of your hand. Just kind of, walling up and being able to really just kind of race with them. In a lot of situations, because they have Blood Artist, you won't be able to block. So, being able to effectively race with your splicers and whatnot is very important. Our opponent is probably a little bit confused because no deck right now plays Spellskite, and he probably has no idea what the hell I'm playing. Alright, so here we're going to go ahead and a little surprised he didn't try to finesse the 2 damage there. There's nothing he loses from attacking. We could have thought he had Pillar of Flame or whatnot. So, but anyways, we're happy with it. Now we're just going to go ahead and I think we could drop down Puresteel at this point, try to start racing back. My only thought is if this is the version that's running the Edict effect, can't remember the name of it, but basically makes you sack a creature. If it's running that, we don't want to lose our Spellskite right away. I think we're just going to continue to wall up here and drop out a Gather. This way we'll be able to, effectively drop Puresteel and the collar on the same turn, hopefully. And then also kind of play around the Edict effect there. And I think really, the Zombies deck, it runs, what is the name of that spell? The 3 damage for 3 red spell that does 5 with Morbid. Just cannot think of card names right now. But anyways, so it runs that. It runs the -1/-1 effect. Man, I'm just blanking on card names here. But I don't believe it runs Pillar of Flame. I think that we're pretty safe blocking the 2/2, unless he has some kind of other effect. So I think that we definitely don't want to be blocking the Jiral's Messenger as an example, just because it most certainly does run -1/-1 effects. But I think we're safe to be blocking the Ghoul or the Gravecrawler here. And I guess he knows that we're safe also. So at this point we got to start getting some card draw. I think now we're just going to go ahead and drop out Puresteel and try to start building up. We also want to be very, very careful of our life total, just because it can so easily get out of our hands and get out of our control. We just want to be able to stabilize, drop our blade splicer, start recurring it, start copying it. So I think that if he attacks with Messenger, we're going to single chump with the human token. Now, to be fair, I mean, if he has the Tragic Slip, there's really no difference from blocking that and just blocking with the Spell Skite and getting blown out that way. So, you know, it could be better just to block the Messenger, you know, if he has that card. But I think that he also runs Fume Spitter, and, you know, with that in mind, it might be worth keeping the Spell Skite around. And he does have the Mortar Pod, so very, very happy that we have Spell Skite. Alright. So I think here we just need to go ahead, make the trade. We're going to take some serious damage right here, but I think it is going to be necessary. The Blood Artist is so dangerous in this matchup. We really need a Mortar Pod of our own to take it out. We can also copy it. The problem is he has Mortar Pod to get rid of our copy. This is part of the reason that when I made the change to the Puresteel Collar deck, if you've noticed, I included one copy of Lifestaff main deck now, partially because you can lose so quickly against zombies, and the threat is so large that, you know, being able to, well, with Spellskite we could have maybe blocked differently here just because of the Mortar Pod. Well, I think this is fine. But anyways, so, you know, the threat of just losing to Blood Artist or two Blood Artists is so real that being able to have access to the Game 1 Lifestaff, I think, is now absolutely mandatory. You know, especially when you're looking at just getting straight blown out by Bonfire. You know, it's very important to be able to have that access. And the amount of damage that just one Blood Artist can do is just obscene. Alright, so here, I think we're in a position where we kind of need to get lucky here, just because we're so far behind. I mean, we could just gather, but I'd rather collar into a land of some kind, because if we don't draw land soon, we're pretty much dead anyways. So let's see, so if we just gather, we need to essentially, well, he's got the Gravecaller combo in place already. I think we need collar here, and we need to get a little lucky. That, unfortunately, was not what we were looking for. So I think now, I don't know that we can trade here still. I mean, because, so see, he swings in, there's 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, oh my god, I think we're just dead, unfortunately. Yeah, so, I mean, the zombie threat is the real deal. You know, and being able to have access to that turn 1 Lifestaff. One Lifestaff may not be enough. The threat might be so impressive that, you know, maybe we need main deck access to Blazing Torch. You know, I'm not sure if it depends, if it calls for that. Or possibly, you know, double Lifestaff, one on the board, one on the main. So like, if he just bashes in, I think we just lose. So we block here, take 2, take 3, 4, 5, 6, go to 5, and then 6, 7 off the Mortar Pod, 8, 9, so we stabilize at 2, and then just die next turn. Yeah, I think we're just done. But we will see if he sees it. Alright, so no choice here, have to block Messenger, otherwise we just lose. And then, like, is there anything we can draw to next turn to not just die on the spot? I think we might just be dead. I'm not sure we have outs. Like, if we... Oops. If we draw Life Staff next turn, I still don't know that it's enough. So like if we draw blue mana and then image his artist, no, we still just die. We're just dead here. Alright, so boarding against zombies. Let's think about this. What do we want to bring in? Well, we definitely want to have access to Fiend Hunter. Being able to just blank his Blood Artist is very important. We certainly want Purge. We Body and Mind loses a lot of value against zombies, and War and Peace gains a lot of value just because we can somehow try to get some life back. Admittedly, War and Peace is still not stellar against zombies, but it's something. Blazing Torch comes in, Cage comes in. Most likely he's going to have access to either Go for the Throat, Doomblade, or both. Definitely Tragic Slip, so definitely spells we want to be avoiding here. Negate is pretty good, I think. Now, what else do we want? We can use Deflection here to some, to some real benefit, just to be able to redirect damage, and then the last crucial turn, hopefully turn it around. Misstep, I think, is still good. I mean, Misstep stops, Tragic Slip, it stops, 8 of his 1-drops, or at least gives us a turn of recovery. Now, admittedly, it's not amazing against Gravecrawler. It's great against Direcraft Ghoul, great against Tragic Slip. I'm not sure it's worth the 2-life hit, but I think it is. So that leaves us at 71. What do we want to cut here? Well, early game is pretty important, but so is value. So I think, Trinket Mage has to stay in because we need Life Staff. We need it very badly. I think the combo goes out the window because, if he has an active Blood Artist, although we can still kill it with Mortar Pod, I still think that, getting the extra guys here, definitely not as important as just stabilizing. We're going to be going for Cage, and we're going to be going for Life Staff. What else? To be honest, I'm not 100% sold on War and Peace just because in a lot of the matchups, it's been clunky. They have removal. If they can remove our guy before we're able to equip, it's just awkward. We don't usually have a hand when we play it. To be fair, it is one of the only ways we can gain life, though, so there's something to that. Image here is pretty bad. It's good at, copying our splicers, but, all of their cards that we can copy are not really that valuable, and we're running out of time here, so just going to do a snap decision here, make some cuts. Just going to cut some of the champions. Ugh. Didn't have time for a very in-depth thought process there on the sideboard. We'll come back to it if we pull this one out. So this hand is pretty good. We have access to our big threats. We've got our Grafdigger's Cage. Cage is so amazing in zombies. I think even over Life Staff, you want to be able to go for Cage first. Obviously, depending on the situation, but being able to lock them out of their Mortar Pod combo, being able to, turn off Messenger and make him essentially a 3/2 dork, especially in the black-red variant, where they're not as focused on pumping effects like Captain, Geralf's Messenger actually becomes quite bad with Cage in play. Okay. So definitely going to be leading out with Grafdigger's Cage into the turn 2 Puresteel, I believe. Obviously depending on what we draw here, we may want to decide, if we draw like a land next turn, to slow roll the Puresteel so we can get some value out of it. But again, I don't know that he has, you know, Pillar of Flame or early kill effects there. Now he definitely could have either the Doomblade or the Go for the Throat, but I think that it might, well, you know, I think just because to ensure a 3-drop, I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to drop the Fortress and then slow roll the Puresteel, do a turn 3 Splicer into a turn 4 Puresteel to get a little bit more value. And I love Splicer here because he's so good against Highborn Ghoul. Being able to ignore the Intimidate is just money. Now we can use our Splicer next turn to Blazing Torch away whatever he plays that we don't like. And the nice thing also is that he, you know, Go for the Throat doesn't work, so Golem is already immune to that. He basically needs to have Doomblade or Tragic Slip after we get a free kill, so no matter how it shakes out, we're happy. Even if he Mortar Pods or Splicer right now, we still have the Golem in place, and we still roadblock his team, so Blade Splicer has never been better. The only thing I want is more Blade Splicers, like 8 of them, or 12, maybe 16. Alright, so Vandal is kind of a beating right here. The thing is, though, he still could very well go for the Cage. I mean, Cage is that dangerous to his deck. I guess we're going to find out. Because, I mean, now like, he's got to assume that like if he kills Golem, we just have turn 4 Angel into Golem again. So he may very well go for the Cage here. Kind of a good window into the zombie player to see what they fear most. And it looks like the Golem is that dangerous, so you know, now he's able to push some damage, which we're not happy about, but we can, I think, try to pull ourselves out of this. Luckily, there is Blade Splicer number 2. So you know, we could go ahead and drop the Blade Splicer number 2, and I think we're definitely going to do that, and then just have Metal Knife step back up. If we had another artifact in play, it could be kind of a toss-up, you know, but not really. I think Blade Splicer is still just the clear play here. So hopefully he does not have Manic Vandal number 2. That would be a little bit awkward. Although I could certainly understand the sideboard consisting of several Manic Vandals just because Golem is so good against this deck. Like, it just annihilates their game plan. So hopefully this is also not Falcon Wrath right here. And Blood Artist is pretty bad. Luckily we have the Blazing Torch backup. But I mean, without more action, we can just whiff his attack here. So this attack kind of leads me to believe that, you know, he's just trying to force damage, then win off the Aristocrat. He could also have Tragic Slip, but even if he does, I think we're fine here, just going ahead, taking out the Highborn Ghoul. And just because we have Staff, you know, I think it's worth keeping the Splicers around. Also because we'll take a massive amount of damage off of Blood Artist if we do block. So I'm just going to be blocking here and then dropping down to 9. Unless he has more action. And I mean, we've got to assume that he has, like, go for the throat in hand or something of that nature. You know, he didn't play messenger this turn, so yeah, he probably does have, you know, a couple other removal spells potentially. Maybe Tragic Slip. Just because, you know, well, I mean, if he had Tragic Slip, he would have used it. So hopefully we go ahead, lead out with Puresteel, and then draw the land off of the Blazing Torch into the Life Staff so we can get extra added value. We're definitely not waiting around to do a second Puresteel. We don't have the time. We need to get this artist in the graveyard stat. And there is the go for the throat that we expected. So, fortunately not a lot we can do there, but you know, we could have the same play next turn if we can survive until next turn. So at this point, you know, if he has, oh, what is the name of that red spell? I can't think of it for the life of me. But, you know, if he has the kill spell there, 5 damage for 3 red, the name's just escaping me, then, you know, we definitely could just be dead here. But failing that, the plan is to block here, take 2, take 3, go to 5, and then stabilize somewhere around 4 or 5. We lose almost as much by just chumping than we do just taking the damage. Plus he gains the extra life. So if he has it, he just gets us here. Now, I guess with that in mind, if we had blocked there, Brimstone Volley, that's the card. So if we had blocked instead, we chumped, we lose an extra 1, go to 6. Okay, so that was definitely kind of incorrect there, unfortunately. Well, kind of talked ourselves through it there and picked the wrong play. But anyways, we're going to do, I think, another 8-man queue here, just to kind of get you know, more in tune with some of the matchups against the zombie matchups. And unfortunately, that is the end of our run here in this 8-man queue. But we can do another here in just a moment. So we will see you guys next time.